All right, guys, we're here at Next Gen Rust Proofing Pittsburgh Fluid Film. We have location in Monroeville and Irwin, Pennsylvania. Our website is pittsburghfluidfilm.com. Okay, so today I'm going to do a video on rust proofing concepts, and hopefully that will help you make a decision and a type of protective coating you want to do with your vehicle. So first off, a rust proofing product you could do on a brand new vehicle, or you could do on a used vehicle that already has existing rust, okay? So we're going to use this as an example. This is I believe it's an 05, but it's a GM, it's a Yukon up here. So I'm just going to show you an example on a used vehicle. Okay, so you can see this vehicle, it's not in horrible shape. The owner wants to keep it, obviously, so that's why they brought it in. Let's take a look underneath here. Okay, so if you look under here, this is a typical GM rust. The GMs actually come with a wax-coated frame. So once that comes off, you can see up here behind the spare tire, there's surface rust all over. Now this vehicle, it still passes inspection. There's no holes in the cross members yet. The inner rockers aren't horrible. So, basically the owner, they're going to keep running this car, and they don't want to run into problems in the future with rust, the problems rust could cause. So they came in and they wanted to get a rust proofing coating, and that's what I'm going to show you. So basically, the big difference between rust proofing and undercoating, there's a big difference in the products. So for example, if you went to get your car undercoated, what they're going to do is, okay, some places they're just going to cover right over this, okay? Here we call traditional undercoating makeup, okay? It's like a girl putting makeup on. It's just gonna cover everything up. The point is to try to seal the rust in, but the problem is you get a surface like this that has flaky rust all over the place, okay? You can peel stuff off here. It's not gonna bond well, and if you give it a couple months, that traditional undercoating is just gonna come off, okay? We see that time and time again. Now, some other places, what they'll do also is they'll offer a descaling and acid etching service that does get a lot of this loose stuff off, but the problem is in the end, you're never going to get the actual rust out of the metal pores. Scale is simply scale. It's this loose stuff here, okay? You could get a lot of that off, but you're still gonna have the rust underneath. So that allows a traditional undercoat to bond better, okay? That's about it. In the end, though, you're covering it up. You give it about 6 months or so, and it's going to peel off everywhere. It's going to create a disaster. You're going to have void pockets all over the place. When your chassis stretches, flexes, it's going to crack. The salt, the stuff in the winter they put on the roads is going to make it even worse. And in time, it's going to make your vehicle probably 10 times worse than it was to begin with. There's a lot of videos on rubber undercoating, asphalt undercoating, why you should stay away from it, okay? And if you look on my website, there's a lot of videos, Three Guys Garages, there's a lot of places that have done videos on traditional undercoating. It just doesn't work. Now in a new vehicle, it's really kind of the same thing. In the new vehicle, traditional undercoating is going to stick better because it's a brand new surface, but it is impossible to get that undercoat everywhere on the frame and the body panels unless you actually took, for example, on a truck, you'd have to take the cab off, you'd have to take the bed off. You're never going to get around the frame everywhere. Same thing, you get water in there, it starts peeling. I mean, if you think about it, the factory coatings that all these manufacturers are putting on their vehicles, they don't hold up. Another product's not going to hold up either, not in this part of the country. So what we do here is rust proofing products. Rust proofing products we refer to as a soft product. It is not a permanent product. It's a semi-permanent product, and it's going to provide a liquid film over your undercarriage that's going to give you the protection. Okay, so what this film's going to do is, where you have rust, it will actually penetrate. It's full of corrosion inhibitors, okay? So you get those corrosion inhibitors in it. There's a petroleum agent in a lot of the products. They're actually going to soak into these metal pores. They're going to soak through the surface rust. They're going to sit in the metal pores as a liquid. Okay, when they do that, you have a liquid in the metal pores. It's blocking out moisture and oxygen. The moisture can't get through, the oxygen can't get through. It stops the rust process as long as you have a coating on. Okay, it works really good. Another good thing is it's going to protect you in the winter from roadway debris, all the granular on the roads, the brine, the salt, all that stuff. So you're getting a liquid barrier to protect you from the elements, and you're also getting something that's actually going to soak into the metal pores. Traditional undercoating, anything you hear stuff like POR 15, we call that pour over rust 15. It's just, you're just covering it up. There's no anti-corrosion inhibitors in it whatsoever. Okay, so this stuff, like I said, it's full corrosion inhibitors. It's going to soak into the pores. It does a really good job of stopping rust. Products we use here, we have about 30 different products or so. We only advertise the popular ones. For example, the most popular products here that we stock are fluid film. We have a really good version of that that's not available anywhere else in the country. We have the NH oil lineup. They have several different products. We have PFC, which is made locally in Somerset, Pennsylvania. We have corrosion free. I have Carwell products. Like I said, we have about 30 different products here. Those are the most popular ones. We have waxes too. We have NH wax. I have Waxall. Those are for newer vehicles that I'll get into on another video. Okay, so moving on. On a new vehicle, a rust-proofing coating, what it's going to do is it's going to protect your factory coating at that point. It's not going to soak in through your factory paint. It's going to protect that and your panels too. Okay, so key points about rust-proofing. It is not permanent. However, it is a lot cheaper to do than traditional undercoating. Traditional undercoating, you're going to pay $500 to $1,000 for initial coating, and then you're going to have maintenance at maybe $75 a year. If you think about that, if traditional undercoating doesn't peel off, then why do you have to have maintenance every year? So that's something to think about. I have a picture book here down at the shop of probably over 100 vehicles that were undercoated at other shops in the area. A couple years later, you could see what happens to them. Here, we don't make any of our own products, okay? I'm just, we're experts at applying them, and we recommend the best one for the customer. So let's get into some actual rust proofing on here, okay? It's gonna be a little hard to do, but I'm gonna show you. So right here, I'm gonna apply a clear coating on this frame here. Okay. I had to do this one-handed, it's not gonna be perfect. So, okay, so this is a fluid film type product. This is actually our version of fluid film. It is fluid film, like I said, it's just batched differently for us here. So this product is a clear coating, okay? This is for someone who doesn't really care about cosmetics. So what it's gonna do here, you can see it's a nice film liquid layer. This isn't gonna wash off, water's not gonna hurt it. This is actually going to soak into the metal pores, okay? I'm gonna put some more on just so you could better idea. Okay. So we apply this. This is a clear coating. Like I said, there's several different products. We apply this to the frame, inside the frame, okay? We have thousands of dollars of specialized extensions and equipment here. So we do your frame inside your frame, all your cross member structural supports. Then we'll go into the body panels. We'll do the entire bottom of, if you have a truck, the entire bottom of your bed, your cab, behind your tail lights and your tailgate, you know, up behind the spare tire. We're gonna do your rockers, cab corners, bedsides, front fenders, inside the doors, the core support, everywhere we could get. This stuff's really nice because it can't hurt anything. So when we spray under a vehicle, we're pretty much doing it everywhere. Another nice thing about this is if you have a brand new vehicle, and note we do as many new vehicles as we do used. So you have a new vehicle, when we apply this clear coating, okay, you're not gonna have black crap all over your brand new car or truck. This is gonna be transparent, it's gonna be clear. Let me show you earlier. So this was sprayed earlier today. Up here you can see on a body panel, it goes on clear, okay? Now this is a older vehicle, so it doesn't have perfect body panels, but if this was a new vehicle and this was the bottom of your floor, you're gonna have a clear coating, and it stays on really nice. These products are either lanolin, mineral oil based, or petroleum based, and like I said, they work really good. Another thing about this product is that you can, instead of, so these aren't one-time products. That might be considered the only downfall. But the good thing is you're not building and building and building layers. So something like a rust-proofing product, you're going to go into a maintenance program, okay? Basically, you come in, you get a coating, and then from there you need to do future coatings. The truth about rust-proofing is a lot of people will tell you, there's guys that spray stuff like chicken wing oil, stuff like that. They'll tell you you could get 5, 6, 7 years. None of the soft coatings are going to last more than a couple years. If you don't ever want to rust, you need to do an annual coating every year, okay? I'm not trying to say that a year it's going to be gone, because that is not true. But at a year, you're going to have some spots that start to come off, and that's why all the manufacturers recommend yearly coating. Something to remember is recoat prices are lower than your initial price to begin with. It's pretty affordable. If you compare it to 5 years over traditional undercoating with the maintenance, a rust-proofing product's going to be a lot cheaper, okay? Maybe not a lot cheaper, but it's going to be slightly cheaper, or about the same price, I should say, over 5 years. And the difference is, over 5 years here, you're going to get 5 coats, okay? So most of the guys that come here are getting annual coats. The guys that do, they never rust, especially on new vehicles. Now, on a used vehicle, you're still going to have the rust you came in with. It's just that you're not going to rust anymore, okay? Pretty much it stops the rust. Now, no product is perfect. I don't want to tell you that if you do this product, you're never going to have any rust, because that would be a gimmick. That's untrue. But in most cases, people who come in and get this service annually, they really don't have any rust. You're always going to have a little surface rust here and there. You could bring in any brand new vehicle to our center, and I will show you rust on a brand new vehicle, even if you picked it up that day. There's always going to be a little rust in places. Okay, so moving on to another type of coating, okay? So clear coating, it's not really for cosmetics. It's just really soaking it down. Another thing is this stuff does not drip. It's environmental safe, okay? So these coatings, really what they're doing is they're replacing, back in the day when people would do oil coatings, diesel coatings, which all those are illegal. They have a fire hazard. Who wants to put diesel or oil over their new vehicle, or even used vehicle? It makes a mess. It doesn't, that stuff drips. This stuff's not going to drip. You spray oil on your car and you go out and you drive it around, you're going to have oil over the road. Who knows, you have a motorcyclist, someone like that, have an accident from dripping oil. It's actually illegal to do that. So these coatings have replaced that. So another type of coating we could do here is we could add a carbon dye, and we have some other products that will give you a cosmetic aspect to the product. So it's the same type of product, but some people, they like the traditional undercoating look because they don't want to see this rust, okay? Some people don't care. They say, hey, let's just do the clear. The clear is the cheapest option. The clear is actually going to attract a little superficial dust, and over time it will turn like a flat black. But some people want a black right away. So I have an area up here that I put some black on that I want to show you what it looks like, okay? And this is fresh black, so it's going to dull up. Not dull, but it's not going to be like as wet looking. So here's an area with the black on. You can see, it looks like traditional undercoating. Here's another area. So all that rust now, you're not going to see it. This is a really nice black, but this is not going to dry. This is a nice soft. You can see how soft it is, and that's what you want. So you still have this soaking into your metal pores, but you're not going to see the rust, which a lot of people want. So we have that product too. Now you wouldn't want to do that product on the new vehicle, of course, because you're going to have 98% of new vehicles have a black frame. If you just saw a water drip here, it's a little wet today, so you can see this product doesn't drip, but it's soaking wet outside, unfortunately. So that's why we're playing around with this today. Here's another area here on the front of this pumpkin where we have the black. Like I said, the black long term will look really good. I'm going to just show you an example too. Okay, so if you had, for example, this frame rail up here, okay, I'm going to do a little spray on this. I'm going to show you kind of what it would look like after, okay. Okay, so said, it's kind of hard to give an example with one hand, but this is going to be a really nice black when it's done, okay? So that's just example. That's the difference between black and clear. So that's basically going to show, give you an example of rust proofing versus undercoating. Remember, in Pittsburgh, undercoating is dominant right now. You have places like Z-Bart and other places that have been around for a long time. A lot of those chains are closing down. If you go to other parts of the country, no one's doing traditional undercoating. Okay, you go up to Erie, Pennsylvania, all they do is stuff like fluid film, soft coatings like we have here. People in Pittsburgh, just a lot of them don't know, so that's what happens. Places like that, they are still doing them because there still is the clientele. For example, if we wanted to, we could do traditional undercoating here, hard coatings, all that stuff that people were doing, and I could be charging $500 to $1,500 a vehicle. I could make a lot more money, but we're not going to do that here. We've been doing this business for a long time. We do soft coatings only. If you look at our reputation, we have really good reviews. Like I said, most people don't want to do this type of stuff because it's a lot more work, or about the same amount of work, but it's a lot less money. And that's just how the world works. Of course, they're not going to do something like this until they have to. So Pittsburgh is really dominant for traditional undercoatings. Like I said, if you read about them, they're a really, really bad thing you do not want to do for your vehicle. One thing you can do, and here's a good example of problems with rust. You can see on this vehicle, they've already had to replace brake lines, okay? So, that could be thousands of dollars to do stuff like that. So if this vehicle was sprayed, a couple years ago, they probably could have avoided a lot of that. You can see these fuel lines too are starting to get rusty. Let me look at these other brake lines. Yep, and looks like from the ABS module to the front, all the other brake lines had to be replaced already. So that's just an example. You rust proof your car, you're gonna save stuff like brake lines, cross members, body panels, rockers. You could see this rocker on this vehicle. Okay, from the outside, you see it has some rust coming through. But with this treatment, it's not going to get rid of this rust, but it's going to stop. It should be to save this panel. This person should be to go a long time without having to touch this panel at this point. Same as these door bottoms. These door bottoms are really nice, so they should get a lot more life out of them before they have to do anything. Hopefully they never will. So that's just an overview of the rust proofing service we offer here. A couple frequently asked questions. So a service like this, what's really nice is you could come in, you can make an appointment with us. Okay, we do scheduled appointments only at this time, and you're in and out in about 2 hours or less. So you don't have to drop your vehicle off for days, which could be a really inconvenience. A lot of people don't have an extra vehicle. So, and we do drop-offs, of course, too. So this is about a 90-minute to 2-hour service. Okay. So I would actually say most of our people do wait. Like I said, we have locations in Monroeville and Irwin, and our website's pittsburghfluidfilm.com. We have online scheduling, or you can call or text 724-719-7122 for an appointment. Some other questions. We do drape all the vehicles. Okay, I just have this one up here for an example. You can get some burn off with the service. We don't spray the exhaust, but on your way home, sometimes you'll have a little burn off. It's non-toxic, it's safe. You could have a little overspray too. We've done thousands of vehicles here. We've never had a complaint about overspray. It's 100% paint safe, and it comes right off. Unfortunately, for weight appointments, we're unable to wash vehicles. Most people don't want to wash their vehicles anyways. You will never get black on the overspray. I'm talking about clear. It's just really from the garage environment. Most of the time it never happens anyways. It's just something to, I'm just putting into this video because a lot of people ask about that. But that should basically cover it for a quick 20-minute video on rust proofing. Like I said, if you have a new car, used car, if you're going to keep it, for a while, for a couple years or longer, this is something you really want to do. A really good point is something like this vehicle. I would say this is in just average condition for the year, but say a couple years from now, 3 or 4 years from now, if this vehicle wasn't treated, it's going to be pretty rusty by then. It might have another set of brake lines that need replaced. The rockers probably have holes in it by then. The trailer hitch is probably going to be rusted out, the rear bumper. So my point about that is, if you have a vehicle, if you have a lot of rust, it's still worth doing. I mean, you got to get through a PA inspection each year. A lot of people, if you could get 3 or 4 more years out of your vehicle, that saves you a lot of money. But resale, you have a new vehicle, something used, you go down the line. If you look at places down south where they don't have the moisture, they don't have this rust problem. Okay. My point is that a rust-free vehicle in southwestern Pennsylvania, you look at something like, let's use a Chevy Silverado, like a 2010, they're pulling about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more for a rust-free truck compared to one that's rusty. I mean, most of the 2010 Silverados we see in here have rusted rocker panels, bedsides all over the place. I mean, they're not pulling much money, where the rust-free ones, are pulling, in some cases double the money. So that's something to take into mind. Another thing is, you might have a question. You say, well, you know what? It's already, let's say it's January. It's already January. There's stuff on the roads. Like, can I get the service done still? The answer is yes. This product and these products that we use cannot entrap anything, okay? So when you come in here for an appointment in the wintertime, we might ask you to run through a car wash before, if you have any mud or grease. But otherwise, what we do is we apply a neutralizer underneath. It's almost like a light rinse. We're airing everything off. Even if you had salt or something on your frame, it doesn't matter. This stuff does not encapsulate or entrap anything, okay? If this frame here, for example, had stuff on it, it doesn't matter. This stuff goes through it. It's going to pull that all to the outside, okay? So the middle of the winter doesn't matter. Like I said, we dry it, we blow everything off, get all the loose stuff off anyway, so that's not going to be a problem. Here's another question. A lot of people think, oh, winter's almost over, I don't need to do this. Well, here's the truth. Your vehicle will rust year-round. The spring is actually the worst time, because you still have all the junk on the road, and then you have all the moisture from the April showers, whatever you want to call it. The spring gets really wet, and that's actually the worst time for your vehicle. A vehicle like this, once it already has existing rust, it's going to rust in June, July, August, September, all year round, because what is causing the rust is the moisture. Okay, once your factory coating, I guess you would call it, is compromised, moisture and oxygen are what feeds the rust. So that happens year round. That's why when you go down south, Arizona, even Texas, Florida, they don't have as much rust. And the reason why is they don't have the winters. So what happens is, in the winters, you have all that granular, okay, on the roads, and that's going to get kicked up by your tires, and it's going to start eating away your factory coating. Once your factory coating is gone, you're going to rust, okay? And that's how it works. So basically, you could do this service anytime. I mean, we're open year-round. Our busiest time is obviously the late summer through spring. But if you purchase a vehicle in say February or June, the best time to get it done is then, okay? And then after that, you could kind of maybe move to a spring, fall service, more of a rotation. But if you have a used vehicle, you want to get it done right away. If you have a new vehicle, you want to get it done right away. You buy a brand new truck in May, you wait till October, you're going to have some rust under there by then, okay? So, like I said, protect your investment. Trying to think if there's any other questions that we get a lot about. I think that should wrap it up. So if you have any questions, you could call us, text message anytime. Google Maps, we have a messenger through there. The phone number here to call, make an appointment, text with questions is 724-719-7122. And our website is pittsburghfluidfilm.com. And one last thing. So our Monroeville location is called Pittsburgh Fluid Film, okay? Our Irwin location is Next Gen Rust Proofing. They are the same place. We are a small, locally owned company, and this is not a chain franchise, anything like that. We actually had to do a name change because everyone thought we just did fluid film, which isn't true. We used to do that just commercially, but now with the consumer vehicles, like I said, we stock over 30 different products. You can get any product you want to get done at either location, Monroe or Irwin. Okay, it's the same company, they're just different names. We have a Facebook page too, if you follow that. If you look up Pittsburgh Fluid Film Next Gen, Next Gen is spelled NEXGEN. There's a lot of information on there too. All right, that should wrap it up. Hope to see you with your vehicle in here soon. All right, bye.